Welcome to the Cryptonaut podcast. My name is Mark Storrs, and hanging out with me as always is
Rob Morphy.
Robert Morphy. Thank you very much. And
the dead.
Oh,
the dead.
but notably not the quick.
No, he's not.
I am the slow.
Yeah,
He's
the
the
slow and the dead.
Yes.
The slothful dead, but still in studio,
I am
fighting a sickness.
Yeah.
A fever of 102 plus, close to 103. We have
it was.
Chris,
Yeah.
a champ, showing up to play.
I mean, Chris was the sacrifice that was demanded by the spirit of America
We
on
knew that.
July 4th.
Yes.
It's normally one of us.
Dude, I
Truly.
barely I made it home with like an hour to spare before everything went to shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he did.
On the third.
On the third? Yeah, no, it was on the
Yeah.
third. Yeah, you were at my house partying. Fucking fireworks central. And then,
Did we forget to bleed on your truck again?
Oh, no, I did. Don't worry.
Okay.
I laid out, arms sprawled.
Right.
Yeah. The eagle stigmata appeared on my hands.
You're right
It
on.
You
was
did a blood
cool.
eagle on your truck.
did a
Blood eagle on the truck. Yeah, that's key.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, for America, of course.
Uncle
Yeah.
Sam demanded it. And
Uncle Sam demands
who am
his
I
tribute.
to tell the spirit of Uncle Sam that I will not blood eagle my truck?
A damn fool.
That's right.
And you're no damn fool, sir.
And I am just coming off of I think I still smell like fireworks and
Oh, yeah.
and Coors Lights.
Nothing wrong with that.
Like I was going through my like the beer fridge today. I'm like, oh boy.
Oh, the hurting was put.
There's a giant bag of cans, and then there's a giant bag of empty fireworks.
Oh.
So much so that my family was over, and they're like, "What is that?" I was like, "That's
The leftovers.
a celebration right there. That's
Yeah.
all the fireworks that I."
Well,
did."
that's the tribute to your season, too, because it begins officially
Yeah.
on the 3rd,
Yeah.
the eve of the 3rd,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
and goes until the dawn of
Yeah.
All Saints Day, November 1st.
the beginning
Yeah.
of Halloween started.
I'm just
July
waiting.
3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, I'm waiting for the pumpkins. I believe some stores already have the accoutrement for Halloween out.
They do
There
it
might
earlier
be.
and earlier.
Well, I mean, I prefer the Halloween stuff over the back to school stuff.
Of course.
Because the kids
yes.
literally
Sure.
just got back. They
No.
literally just got out of school.
There's no matter
Yeah.
how old I get, I never don't blanch when I see a back to school aisle.
Yeah.
I look at that, especially when it comes out in fucking July, and I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, give them at least.
I haven't been to school in 1,000 years, and I'm still pissed for the
Dude.
kids that
Yeah.
have to see this.
It's funny because my
Yeah.
daughter gets excited. She's like, "Oh, it's back to school shopping." I'm
Could
like,
you imagine?
You just got out of school.
Oh no! Let her be this wonderful little like fucking Pollyanna. Let her enjoy school.
Yeah, right.
She might be the one kid that does. Bless her heart.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Charlie enjoys it too, but he's not stoked on
Going back.
to school.
No, because you don't
but-
want to sacrifice summer.
No, and she's
don't.
already like, "Yeah, back to school." I'm like, "Girl,
Wait till it
on,
goes
wow.
away. Wait till she finally gets to the point where she's like, "Fuck this! I got better things to do."
yeah." I
You're
don't know.
lucky it's gone this far.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll get there. This week, now this came very early.
Oh yeah.
So early that I was like, I called you twice today.
Which
and
I didn't answer.
Your ringer's off, I understand.
I can't do that.
But then like it showed up early and I'm like, what did he do?
yeah.
Like, is he in trouble?
No.
Did he go to jail?
I might have.
What did he?
Someday you're gonna get
Yeah.
it. You're gonna get it like 7 a.m. and you know that comes with the caveat of bail money.
Yeah, I know.
Just so you guys both know.
In the slammer.
Yeah.
Dear Mark, in the slammer.
Use corporate funds.
Yeah, use the corporate card to bail me out.
Whatever it takes. But no,
Oh.
it wasn't that early. It wasn't dangerously early. It was just I've been sitting on the story. I always collect stories. I collect stories all the time, week in, week out. It's one of my great joys in life. I did it before we did this podcast to occasionally write about them
Nice.
for our website. So it's a habit that never went away. So when I was thinking, oh yeah, this week, oh, this is a headline I remembered.
Oh.
And I jumped all over it, and it wrote itself because it's mostly an eyewitness account. So
Hey,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
That works.
that helps. That definitely helps.
Yeah, I mean, we
but
do
it's
those.
fantastic. I'm super excited about this one, and yeah, you got it at a ripe early time of I think before 4 p.m.
It was. And
Dang.
it was like 3:30 because I got home and I was beat up from like the heat at work, and I was like, I'm taking a nap. And
Mhm.
before I went down from a nap, I was like, oh, there's an email from Rob. Oh God, what happened? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, never mind.
Oh,
Everything's okay.
No, I
No,
know.
I
It's
call
the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the story. It's just super early. We're talking about Granny X in the Demon Teddy Bear.
Actual headline.
Oh
Granny
man,
X.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many.
I mean, all right, let's
so many things here.
Let's tamp down our love of Marvel Comics a little.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
It's just a name convention.
Okay. Well,
But she's dead.
She's dead?
She's dead.
Oh, no.
So I spoiled a little bit. Smidge. You'll know soon enough. I didn't ruin anything. Cut it out if you want.
No, it
punks.
stays. It stays.
You punks.
Yeah, you guys get to do whatever you want. I write the words. You cut them whatever you want.
We just met Granny and you already killed her.
She's dead. I didn't kill her. She died long before any of us were born.
We didn't know that.
I know, but now you do.
We had a relationship.
All right, I'm sorry. Granny X is dead. But she's awesome.
Okay, all right, fine.
She's
fine.
badass.
All right, well,
all right.
From beyond the grave.
Okay, excellent. Let's get started with a whimsical imagination evidently amplified by paranormal powers. A young British girl was able to conjure, seemingly from the ether, fantastical playmates for her enjoyment. Her mythical menagerie was a source of endless delight until the day she accidentally called for something much more sinister from the etheric realm.
None other.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the realms of Etheria.
There it is. Keep it going.
Oh, where do you go? You don't know.
Oh my God. The lights aren't even off.
I don't even know what happened.
And you went insane.
You went full goblin.
That's for all you
Yeah.
folks out there that got to watch our Ghost Stories After Dark with the Wickerham Inn haunting.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So that's been released.
It has been released.
Oh, yeah.
It is a fucking joy.
Mark when the lights goes off are fucking
Yeah.
one of my great joys in life. I mean,
It's-
your instant fun house gets fucking full blast.
Yeah.
211.
You're a
Yeah.
multiverse of Karloffs.
Yeah, you really are. A smidge of Lugosi, a pinch of lore.
There's quite a bit there. Quite a bit.
All
right, man. So there we are, Granny X and the Demon Teddy Bear. Let's big rips, Granny. Let's get started.
Yeah, no, we know. We all know now. We have to live with that.
So
It
sad.
doesn't hurt her
okay.
abilities at all,
Okay,
for the
good.
record.
Good.
I stumbled across this truly chilling encounter on the indispensable website, yourghoststories.com. We've used it before. We'll use it again. It's just a great resource where people get to share their experiences, both with humanoids, ghosts, obviously ghosts mostly, but all sorts of ill shit.
Sure.
Under the ominous sounding title, Granny X and the Demon Teddy Bear, which of course I, co-opted for the title of this pod. Because, I mean, once I read that, I was like, oh, I have to
It's
read
great.
you.
Yeah.
Once I read it, I was like, oh, I have to do you. Then I put you in a file where I knew the right time would come.
Nice.
This is the moment. Which was posted on November 24th, 2021, just for the people that need to do the research later.
Excellent.
The extraordinary account was one of 4 penned by a British woman under the username Tiger Feet. Dorbs. I
Nice.
love that name.
It is-
Even though Tiger Feet are technically talents of, infinite doom.
Master paws.
Yeah, they're master paws.
Yeah.
It caught me.
All right.
Who was,
All right.
according to the site, a quote-unquote senior adult, not my phrasing, theirs, living in the United Kingdom, a place which I've made abundantly clear I have no idea regarding the scope of, but for our purposes, she was kind enough to specify that it was England.
Okay.
As for her ancestry and paranormal pedigree, I'll let the author's words speak for themselves. Quote, my background ethnicity is a little complicated. How's this for a mixture? Take a deep breath. Irish, Romany, English, Scottish, Norwegian, and a little Jewish blood all mixed up in little old me. I was reassured by my maternal grandmother, the youngest daughter of a youngest daughter. I don't think that is technically I think it is like seventh son of a seventh son.
That's
So it
what I was-
definitely goes right into
Yeah.
Iron Maidenville. Definitely.
No,
So
for sure.
it's similar. That as I am the youngest girl in my generation, and my mother was also the youngest girl, as is my daughter, that having the gift was a perfectly normal thing and that I should accept it with open arms. Good to have a grandma like that.
Okay. So this is just normal family shit, like the gift.
The gift. You get the gift.
You
When you get the shin in,
gift.
Okay.
you deal with it.
Okay.
Shinin.
Okay.
Yeah.
The kicked in shins. Cool.
Our family traditions say the youngest female in each generation. So I guess that must go like amongst siblings too. So it's not just the youngest in a parentage, but the youngest female of like all your brothers and sisters.
I'm assuming.
I might be reading into that too much. If I'm
Yeah,
wrong, I'm
Seems like a
wrong.
lot of people with the gift.
All right.
Yeah.
So our family traditions say that the youngest female in each generation is gifted with the spirit world, each in their own way. I accepted the gift. I really did. But to be honest, I didn't have much choice in the matter. I seem to live in a world full of people, animals, and buildings that other people couldn't see. That's a tough road to hoe.
Buildings.
We're gonna get to that.
Okay, yeah, because that sounds really complicated.
It's less complicated than you think.
Okay.
I have been visited since I was a toddler. I can't remember before that, obviously, by my paternal grandmother, one Granny X. So it really wasn't that much of a spoiler. It was given up right out the gate.
Okay.
Who died when my dad was 12, many, many years before I was born. I should hope so. I mean,
It'd be weird if she wasn't.
she has guided me through my life, as did my maternal grandmother. My mother never really accepted her gift, but she did accept that she saw things and heard things that other people didn't. My maternal granny said that I was both a conjurer and a conduit. That's a fucking doubleheader. That means that I can summon otherworldly things as well as try to guide spirits that are attracted to me. I often meet with spirits in everyday life, including a couple of times arriving suddenly in the passenger seat when I'm driving.
That is not
Yeah.
optimal.
I mean, I guess depending on like how they present themselves,
Well, yeah.
you know.
But no, a sudden passenger can present itself any way it fucking wants. It's wrong.
If it's Tiny
Yeah,
Tim, you're
yeah.
going to be like, okay, strange. If it's Charles, you're going to be like, let's party.
Fair enough.
References that
just
no one
wait
will
till
get.
I
she's done
know.
driving.
A Charo reference for fucking real? Just shimmering there.
Charo.
Jesus
shimmering.
Christ.
She's
You'll
the
be more
best.
scared if it's Charo. Then you'll party after you get into an
I'd be
accident.
so excited if I saw her.
Who wouldn't?
I'd be like, oh my God, it's Charo.
That's not the
And then
point.
I
The
go,
point is when she suddenly appears in
Are
your
you
car.
dead?
Oh my God.
Oh God,
Yeah.
is Charo dead? She might,
Dad.
she might be alive, though we don't know.
Everybody Google Charo.
Oh yeah, oh that's right. I just assumed that she
Because
was.
that's a
because
wasted
you guys were
reference.
talking about it. So
All right,
I'm like,
well, everyone's going to email us about this. We're in so much trouble.
All right.
All of England's gonna
By the
email
way,
us.
that was the end of a quote.
Okay,
I will begin my writing and reading now.
cool.
In her post dated October 12th, 2017, titled Ghost Buildings, that's for you, Chris, so you know
Nice.
it's about ghost
all
buildings.
right.
Tiger Feet wrote, quote, "The most terrifying experience I had was when I was driving alone on a motorway. At the time, I lived on the Kent coast," which I think brings us back to the Bat Beast that we've talked about in the past.
Yep.
And was driving up to meet my fiance in the West Midlands to look at some houses before choosing which house we wanted to buy. I saw a terrace of houses across the road in front of me, right across the motorway. I decided to brake as the houses looked very solid to me before I realized that I was A, driving on a motorway, and B, there are no buildings that sit on the road and cover all the lanes, or any of the lanes, I'd imagine.
Right.
I pulled over at the next service station and had a strong cup of coffee to calm my nerves. Not sure if that was the best decision, but all
Yeah,
right.
you're going to make it worse.
Before continuing on a thankfully uneventful journey. When I did a little research, I discovered that there had been some houses in the area where I saw them, end quote.
So she's getting like a glimpse into like a time before.
A time before time.
Okay.
So not the same
Cool.
as a time slip necessarily.
Right.
No, right. Yeah.
Which is where you actually are fully
just, like,
immersed in a time before time.
seeing-
And though, by the way, she had something like that happening, and I'll just mention it briefly because she had 4 posts. Obviously, I went through them all with a fine tooth comb, but like a little thatched cottage in the middle of a Roman village that her class went to when she was in, like, I guess the equivalent of middle school or something like that, maybe
Okay.
primary school. And she kept asking her teacher about it, and the teacher kept going, "There's no house there. You're getting sunstroke. Let's see a nurse." And she's like, "Nope, there's a house there. There's a garden. I want to know what the deal is. I mean, we're here to learn." He's
Yeah.
like, "You're crazy." And she's like, "I'm not crazy." And then she realized later, oh wait, that house wasn't there when we first arrived. Only when I went exploring on my own did I find the house.
Mm.
The little thatched cottage, which might have been a medieval cottage, might have been a Roman era cottage. I don't know what
Was it
fucking- the
Pompey?
history of
Right.
cottages.
Was it Pompey?
I mean, it was
Pompeii?
Pompeii. Yes.
Pompeii.
No, I should
Pompey.
know. I should know.
Pompey.
You
Is
mean
it-
Pompey, New
is that how you
York?
pronounce
Is it Pompey?
I mean, I don't know if she found the immolated bodies of all the villagers.
Was everyone is dust?
Also, I'm pretty sure that the Romans had a huge presence, and that's one of the few things about Britain I know, that they had a huge presence there without any volcanoes infringing on them, at least that I'm aware of.
A ghost volcano.
All right, so in all fairness, I really don't know if there's volcanoes in England either.
Dude.
The shit I don't know about England
Listen,
fills volumes.
Save us
for the
the
record.
emails and the DMs.
But I'm pretty fucking sure
the land of volcanoes.
Vesuvius was not in England. I'm going to stand by that one.
Yeah. I agree.
All right.
We could be wrong.
Can we all agree? You won't even go that far.
I don't want to get yelled at by
Vesuvius is not in fucking England, dude.
we're still getting DMs.
Oh, you're right, because I suck.
We're
I
still getting
suck at
DMs.
geography.
DMs.
All right, so my point is, she's had experiences that may have been similar to time slips.
Okay.
Can't swear to it.
Sure.
But we're at the very least perceiving structures that have been there in times immemorial.
Interesting.
Okay. So she drinks her coffee, calms down, gets back on the road. In another of her fascinating accounts posted on September 13th, 2019, under the heading Friendly Little Charlie, Tiger Feet wrote about a mischievous poltergeist-like entity that had been a part of her life since childhood. Quote, "This story actually started before my birth. After being married for about a year, my parents bought a house in southwest London back in the days when normal people could still afford to purchase property in the capital. It was an early Victorian, possibly 1840 built, 3-story house. When my parents had lived there for about a year, they discovered that one of my great-grandmother's sisters and her husband had owned the house about 15 years before they purchased it. When I was born, about 3 years later, Charlie was already well ensconced in the house. I have absolutely no idea why it's called Charlie. Good call calling it because you really don't know what it is. But my great-aunt had named it when they owned the house. This means that he was already a resident of the family house in the 1920s/1930s. And this is my parenthetical, meaning that Tiger Feet's parents likely purchased the house sometime in the 1940s or early 1950s at the latest, because I can subtract 15 years.
Yep.
I can't.
Not even to the point where I'm confident that I did that well.
No, I
in all
can't.
fairness.
And you know what? I won't.
No, more DMs.
More DMs.
My parents believe they were able to buy the house for such a good price because of Charlie. But we could never be sure of this. When we left the house and moved to another house 5 miles away, Charlie decided to come with us. We weren't aware of him for some time, but after about a month, Charlie made himself known and made himself at home. When I married and moved away from the family home, guess who decided to come with me? 3 guesses, everybody. Jesus fucking Christ.
Rob, Chris, and Mark?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
That's right, Charlie. When I moved away from London to the Kent coast on the southeast of England, again he came with me. When I moved to the West Midlands, which I think we were just discussing a minute ago, and married my second husband, it seemed to take Charlie a couple of months to track me down, but he's living very happily with us again, which is great because I really missed his presence. So the thing that strikes me as interesting about Charlie is like a cat left behind, an outdoor cat that maybe you couldn't, gather up before you moved suddenly for whatever reason, ends up tracking their family, or a dog left behind at like a neighbor's house, and they go fucking cross continents to fucking find their family. Like, it seems like a ghost has an equally challenging time, but at the same time, much easier than the rest of us have. Like, the rest of us, I guess we could follow social media in the 21st century, but like once upon a time, way back in the fucking day, like say in the 60s or 70s or 80s or 90s, even for most of them, you would just have to get fucking lucky or follow a scent trail that is beyond our capabilities.
Yeah.
But it seems like ghosts, even though they get thrown for a loop for a minute, can track down the energetic auras, or I don't know what mystical bullshit is involved.
Time and
nobody
space.
knows.
It just strikes me as interesting that Charlie keeps tracking this family down, or falling for this girl, or at least being charmed by her and her family, is like, no, I'm going to stick with this group until such a time when
I'm assuming
can.
that they're not bound by normal earthly law, so they can just, like I said, time or space. They can just be like, all right, here we go.
But it still
figure
takes
it out.
A couple of months to make himself known in the new home when they
True.
traveled
So
away.
there was a bit of delay.
So that's what throws me out. I mean, if the ghost could fold itself up into the suitcase and and just unfold and be like, oh, I'm home, new home, nice home. Fucking whatever ghosts say when they get into a new house.
Yeah, no, new home, nice home.
Nice home. Yeah, it just makes sense to me. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
When I'm haunting one of you guys,
right.
That's 100% what I'm going to say. Oh, Chris, new apartment. That's apartment. Woo, new apartment.
Apartment, that's apartment.
So, the fact that it took him months
That's
or
weird.
weeks in certain circumstances, to me, strikes me as odd, because it's like either it's not instantly paranormal knowledge, because once you die, like some people hope, I'm one of them, that you glean all the knowledge. Like you get to know all the secrets of the universe, how quantum physics reconciles with relativity, how fucking dumb shit does other dumb shit. You want to know all of it. But apparently, you're just as dumb when you're dead. And then you figure it
know?
out because you have heightened senses.
Yeah.
Or not. We just don't know.
Yeah, we don't really know.
All right.
Well.
I'm going to continue with Tiger Feet's account. Quote, when I married and moved away from the family home. Oh, no, I already read that part. Fuck that. Charlie, she continues, is a friendly, if somewhat mischievous spirit. He loves to hide things and then leave them in truly bizarre places. Once I had a little tiff with my then young son whilst I was cooking a fried egg for his lunch. Boy, with even the whilst, that's the most British sentence.
Yeah, fried egg lunch. Yeah.
I like fried eggs.
Oh,
I
okay.
went, looked back at the cooker, the frying pan and the egg had vanished. I found them an hour later, hidden in the freezer, and amazingly, the oil was still sizzling around the still cooking egg. So, you can't instantly follow your family, but you can keep a fucking frying pan hot in a freezer for an hour. Magic that I don't understand.
You can teleport it?
Yeah.
Or maybe it was in the ether, the etheric realm.
Oh, yeah. It was
and then once she opened the freezer door, boom, and the freezer still sizzling.
The realms of ether.
Because otherwise it would be charred if it was still hot after an hour.
Yeah.
Or it would be cold. Again, we'll get emails about this because I don't know shit about anything.
Yeah, dude,
I don't know thermodynamics any better than I know geography.
The egg people are going to come at us hard.
They're going to be like, they cook forever and never burn. What's fucking wrong with you? And I'm like, how the fuck do I burn them? You're fucking up.
Big eggs coming after us, dude.
So,
Okay, well.
All right, strange.
Okay. He also liked to move things that you're using if you're foolish enough to put them down for a few minutes. One of his favorites is to come into my craft room. Oh, so adorable that she's got a craft room. Whilst I'm working and wait for me to put the scissors down. Of course, when I looked back to where I left them, they are gone. On one occasion, hidden behind our tropical fish tank, so they were not found for about 3 months. That's kind of a pain in the dick, but hey, it's cute. It's antics.
Yeah, it's not harmful. It's just annoying.
Yet.
Continuing with the story. My husband didn't really believe that Charlie existed as he never had any of his possessions moved. This was when Charlie decided that he couldn't resist my husband's tools, especially when he was working on one of his cars. Socket sets, are very much his favorite. Usually he manages to remove the exact piece of the set that is needed next. Prognostication, but you can't figure out where people are going. Just saying. There's paradoxes here.
It's always the 10 millimeter. It's one that's always gone.
That's true.
Yeah, everyone always uses that one.
Or failing this, a nice spanner will do. A spanner.
A spanner wrench?
Don't know what that was.
Spanner wrench.
Thank you. That's just my normal ignorance of tools. That's nothing special. He often leaves them in the fridge, but he has been known to leave them in our bed, always on my husband's side.
That's a little annoying.
Okay.
All right, yeah. I mean, especially when you're fixing some shit and you don't want antics. I mean, one of the main reasons I got shouted at by my dad wasn't my major behavioral faux pas. It was some bullshit that was distracting him from anything else he wanted to do for all his life.
Okay.
Whether it was watching a sports game or fixing something or whatever the fuck he was doing. If I was distracting, that's the shouting I got.
Sure.
Okay.
So when you're pulling this kind of shit, you got to expect like a Ouija contacting and a hard lecture. I would think.
You're going to get some shit tossed,
Yep.
some crucifixes.
It's not like you stayed up 7 hours
Mm.
past your curfew. It's fucking, you were just making a loud noise when it was not opportune.
Yeah.
Dude, exactly, dude.
All right. So whatever. My kids all know Charlie, she continues, and have used him as an excuse on many occasions, which makes Charlie move their stuff and hide it from them. My son once claimed that it wasn't him that drew on the wall, so it must have been Charlie. Fine, if I'd not seen my little artist drawing on the wall. He's hidden so many things that we've lost count. He doesn't get more active when there are arguments or upsets in the house, nor did his antics increase when I hit puberty or when my children did. I understand that this is quite often the case with this kind of activity, which is true in classic poltergeist activity.
Sure.
Yeah.
Pubescent women coming of age, the hormonal changes and the aggravations that ensue necessarily because of it. Sometimes men, but mostly young women. That's what exacerbates the poltergeist manifestations. If this was a typical poltergeist manifestation, you would think the same would hold true. It's not. So what strikes me as the case is this seems to be like a friendly family spirit of some sort.
I mean, so far,
It could be an old ancestor. I mean, we don't know. And we'll get to that because, right here. Quote, funnily, none of us have any desire to discover who or what Charlie really is, and we definitely don't want to get rid of him. He's been a part of the family for at least 3 generations, and I would love him to continue long after I've gone. He's very mischievous, but has never once scared us or put us in any kind of danger. So far, he's shown no interest in knives or anything that could harm us, even though he loves my scissors, as she mentioned earlier, and I'm certain that he would never do anything to hurt us or our visitors. Could be the long con. We don't know.
Right.
In all fairness, that's my digression. That's not her saying. Could be the long con, but maybe not. Who knows? I have to say though that he's more than happy to pinch items from our guests from time to time. Maybe he really enjoys the antics of us living people looking for the things he's moved. Life would not be the same without Charlie, and as we're moving 300 miles next year, I really want him to come with us, end quote. So I can only hope that he continued his trend of following.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is like the rare happy, like, he's a cool little guy.
Yeah.
It's Charlie.
I mean, it's kind of a dick move that you can't find your scissors for 3 fucking months or that socket wrench you need is gone. I'm not saying it's fun, but it's not terrible.
It's not like there's not floating severed heads and, 14 Draculas. It's all pretty normal shit.
Yeah.
All right, fair.
Yeah.
Yet.
Okay.
You listen to Chris right there?
Right. I'm sorry, 13 werewolves.
All of them.
In the closet, jumping out.
At once.
Yeah.
Getting stuck. Giving you time to escape.
They're packed in so tight they can't even get out. You see his snouts howling.
Oh my God.
Guys, we got to transform
I'm
back
allegedly
and
a werewolf.
out,
that might be the worst werewolf impression ever.
I like how they gotta stop and go, guys, we have to de-transform.
Yeah.
Okay,
Everybody
at the same time. And go.
I mean,
okay, fine.
Right.
The master wolf would know. Am I right, Chris?
Yes.
But the king rat could also give him some advice. You got to disentangle before you come out.
That's true.
Yeah.
The old rat king.
Back to my writing. While Charlie displayed not a malicious bone in his evidently incorporeal body, Tiger Feet had another account in which she and her dead grandmother, mentioned many times already, were not so lucky. In the aforementioned account, Granny X and the Demon Teddy Bear, the experiencer wrote, quote, "This story is about me when I was around 3 or 4 years old. I was playing in the downstairs hall of our house, the 3-story Victorian townhouse in London, which we moved from, when I was about 10. I had what my mom always referred to as imaginary friends, although in later life she admitted that she could see them from time to time. Remember, her mom's in quasi-denial about it.
Right.
This story is about me when I was around 3 or 4 years old. I was playing in the downstairs hall of our house, the 3-story Victorian townhouse in London, which we moved from when I was about 10. I had what my mum always referred to as my imaginary friends, although in later life she admitted that she would see them from time to time with me. A little girl, the same age as me, whose name I can't remember, but it was a long time ago. My 2 white bunnies with red eyes and my little monkey with the long tail and a smiling face. When I thought I needed someone else to play with me, I'd conjure them up, basically, is what she's saying. So she could just make them appear, and they were her childhood darling friends. I guess much like Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh and the rest of the 100-acre menagerie. So,
cool.
Yeah, I can name them all. I'm not going to.
Okay,
we don't
good.
have the time for that. Owl, no, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, no,
Rabbit, no, shut
fine.
up.
You're good.
Kangaroo, fuck off, Rob. Eeyore, believe it.
Back on
back on fucking target. Stay on target. I did what I always did, totally untrained and unrestrained at this point, and told the empty air around me that I would like a big white teddy to play with me, as well as my friends. I remember what felt like hot air going around and around about halfway up the stairs. I promptly ignored this until I heard what sounded to my very young ears like an old man, like my granddad, coughing the way he did when he wanted to talk to me. Think a very loud clearing of an adult throat. By this time, all of 10 minutes after my request to the empty air, I had forgotten all about my wish for a big teddy bear to play with. The throat-clearing noise continued until I finally realized that my granddad wasn't visiting, but the noise was coming from halfway up the stairs, about the same place that the hot little whirlwind had happened. When I looked up the stairs, from where I was sitting, I was kind of halfway between the bottom step and the line down from the top stair, if that makes sense. And I'm assuming she just means she's just playing in the middle of a fucking staircase like a lot of kids do, much to the chagrin of the adults around them, but
Okay,
it's
yeah.
just, I mean, I was all the time playing on the stairs when I was a kid. So I'm assuming that's what it is. I saw my big white teddy bear. Thinking back, it was definitely male. It had all the correct equipment for a boy. She added.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, all right.
Why conjure the dick?
Why conjure the dick? I mean, that's the question that demanded.
I was going to just go over it. I was going to ignore it.
You can't.
I was going to ignore it. No, I know we can't.
I mean,
but now we're here.
Well, that brings to questions some other questions then. If
Sure.
she's really doing it, if there's other things. Because why?
Why would a child do that?
Yeah.
Well, the child might not conjure the dick.
Right.
Is perhaps a valid response.
That's what I'm
we would all
saying.
have.
It brings up some other questions.
Sure.
You're on a list.
And all right, I'm sorry. The child wouldn't conjure the dick. Let me be emphatic about that.
No,
never.
right.
No. I mean, well, we have to. We got to go past this.
No.
We're going to dwell on this for too long.
No, but Chris is right.
It does bring up
the availability of dick means that maybe the source of said teddy,
Yeah, right. Is something
that is less kosher.
A little sus.
all right.
Thank you for saying
That's
the
all
word.
That's all that means.
Yeah.
Mark.
I mean, don't get caught up on dick conjuring.
Listen.
That's every other episode. Literally. Didn't we have a cat dick like 2 episodes ago?
Last week's episode.
Oh my God. So recently.
Yeah.
So much dick.
It was last week's episode.
All right.
All right.
All right, moving.
Now I got to find my fucking place. All right. No, I got it.
Okay. Well. So the
Okay.
next sentence, though.
Yeah.
She adds that this may have been a false memory imagined as an adult.
Okay, thank God.
I don't think so, though.
Okay,
For reasons that will be clear.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Dot.
Okay.
It was definitely white. His whole body was covered in white curly fur, which looked very soft and cuddly. He had long legs for a teddy bear. Like anything more than 3 inches is long legs for a teddy
that's
bear.
gross. Look, it's gross.
Yeah, no, the long legs got me too. You're not alone. And they finished in such cute little paws. He had a fat paunch of a belly and very long arms with big hands.
Yeah,
I know.
This is weird.
Your face is my feels.
This is this is like this is gross.
This reminds me of the Twilight Zone, the movie, when the kid
Conjured up the filth bunny.
the fucking
yes.
rabbit.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Nightmare Bunny. I mean, I know it was an original episode too, but the Nightmare Bunny in the movie,
yeah.
directed by Joe Dante, by the way, was fucking haunting.
Yeah,
and it was
sucked.
like having seizures. It was
it was
shaking long
terrifying.
before Silent Hill.
Oh God, yeah, it was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
The whole fucking thing scared me.
Tiger Feet continues.
All right.
When I looked up a little further, I saw his face. I had been so mesmerized by the pretty curly fur that it took me some time to look up at his face. To this day, over half a century later, I wish that I had never looked up from its fat tummy. His face was absolutely terrifying. He had a long snout-like nose, which was flattish and almost as wide as his face. His mouth was full of abnormally long and very sharp-looking teeth. He looked like he had far too many teeth for his mouth.
Oh.
And this is not the first red flag, but this is where I start putting one for each tooth. Because that's fucking too much. Like the over-tooth mouth.
Yeah.
It's like the Deadly Spawn from that like mid-'80s independent horror film, The Alien, that just had rows upon rows of teeth.
Yeah. Ugh,
It's just too
God.
fucking much. It's like the sharks of the fucking paranormal world.
Yeah, this
I
thing
guess.
is fucking terrible.
His eyes were quite big and red. Find your own pen.
God damn it.
And they seemed to glow the way embers glow in a dying fire. We had coal fires at the time, so I knew what they looked like when they were dying down. As if all of that weren't quite imposing enough, the author added, quote, "One of the most fascinating things to me was that it had large, curly horns on the side of its head that looked too big for its head.
Dude.
So that's throwing the teddy bear paradigm. I mean, the snout, the teeth, the red eye. Yeah.
Now, this
ain't no
Chris
bear.
said it.
This ain't no goddamn bear.
This ain't no goddamn bear.
This is like a really shitty, scary version of My Pet Monster.
Oh, yeah.
Really? That's
Yeah, like,
what
wasn't that Howie Mandel? Or no, I'm thinking the Closet Monster
No, that was
movie
Little
with,
Monsters.
It was
Little Monsters
Yeah.
with fucking Fred Savage, right?
Yes. Yeah. No, my
He had horns, right?
Yeah, My Pet Monster
Yeah, I
was
think so.
it was a good toy that I had when I was a kid. He was super cool.
And
he had like little like handcuff things you could
I
break.
vaguely recall it.
He was dope. I wish
don't
I
recall
still
that
had it. He was
toy.
awesome.
But, I mean, again, white hair, horns, evocative of the Wampa.
Yeah.
Which we talked about in the Sheep Squatch episode
Yeah.
with the liar's reenactment.
Did she accidentally conjure a sheep squatch?
Well, many years before anyone had seen it, much less the production of Empire Strikes Back. So that could not have been a childhood memory.
No,
She was a child in like the 50s.
She brought this shit into existence.
And so maybe that's why Lucas is tormented by the Wampa and he made $1 billion. So I guess I don't feel too bad for him.
Yeah, I don't at all.
No,
it's fine.
Yeah. No, he's left my pity bus a long time ago.
Yeah.
All right. So horns too big for its head. Not described. Well, curly. So large and curly. All right. So totally described horns.
Yep. Completely.
Too big for its head.
Totally.
All right. I was still staring at him, trying to work out exactly what he was, when I noticed that his cute little paws and large hands actually ended in what looked like very long and sharp fingernails. With hindsight, I wonder if the reason I'd not noticed the nails before was because they were retractable like a cat's. I really don't remember the nails/claws appearing, but the fact that they exist is another thing of concern.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
She continued. He stared at me for ages. My imaginary friends vanished into the cupboard under the stairs. I didn't mention the red flag on the claws. Let me mention the double red flag for your other imaginary friends being fucking scared of this thing you just fucking conjured.
No, when they're out, that's not good.
No, absolutely not. So they're under the stairs, and I was left alone with the monstrous teddy bear who was looking at me the same way a cat looks at a mouse. I still remember how intense his stare was and how it started the first stirrings of terror in my little body. Worse was coming, though. The demonic teddy bear sounds like something from a comedy horror film, but it was anything but funny. Started to talk to me. Even worse, he knew my name. I'm done with flags.
Okay, yeah, the flags
there's flags everywhere.
There's nothing positive going on here.
No, not once.
Everything.
The smiling monkey and the little red-eyed bunnies book for the fucking cupboard under the stairs hanging out with Harry Potter. Not one good thing has happened.
Everything's bad.
Yeah.
Quote, he spoke to me asking if I would like to go and play with him. This is before stranger danger, for the record. He told me he knew a great place to play. We could play dollies or roller skating or even shops, my favorite game at the time, and he would clear up afterwards, meaning clean up the toys and whatnot. He seemed to know everything I liked and everything I hated, like playing shops and never wanting to clear up. I remember telling him that my mummy wouldn't like it if we took out all the tins out of the cupboard to play shops, as I was still in a little bit of trouble for playing shops a few days before and leaving the tins on the stairs whilst I fell asleep in the sitting room. Classic kid gambit. Bring out the tins, fall asleep in my sitting room. Oh, if I had a nickel for every time I did that.
Son of a bitch.
I'd have no nickels. He told me not to worry. He had lots of things to play shops with. Oh, he's got an answer for everything, this fucking creep.
Oh, God.
I started to feel okay about him. Maybe he was just a strange bear. Maybe a polar bear like the one I'd seen on the telly a couple of days before, which started my need for a white teddy bear. Sounds weird that I should associate a creature with glowing red eyes with a polar bear, but to be fair, TV in the UK was still only available in black and white at the time. I changed my mind very quickly. Well, quickly for a small child anyway, and told him I didn't like him staring at me because Mummy said it was rude to stare. This was when he had a huge change in attitude. He told me that he wasn't going to play with me unless I took his very large and sharp-nailed hand and went with him. I clearly remember thinking about it and weighing it up in my young mind whether it would be worth the trouble I would be in if I went out of the house with someone who was not only a large horned teddy bear, but also a complete stranger. So I guess stranger danger was in its infancy.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, but the fact that she's considering it is the most terrifying part to me. But she's a kid. And you concoct things that are friendly.
Sure.
Right.
Why would you assume that you could concoct something dangerous?
Yeah. Well.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Whilst I was thinking, she continued, about this, he was getting impatient and tapping his foot on the step he was standing on. And that's when shit took a turn. Quote, he suddenly stopped tapping and looked down the hall to the front door. I could see a familiar outline walking down the hall towards me. It was my paternal grandmother, known to me as Granny X. The mystery is going to be revealed here. Name withheld, as it would reveal who I am, as it is a very uncommon surname.
Oh, shit. We got royalty
Hence,
or something?
Granny X.
Nice.
Yeah. Or she's straight edge as fuck. One of the two.
Dude, Granny X?
Granny X.
We will break down the walls. It's sweet, dude.
I mean, probably not.
Probably not.
I wanted to
considering
have the construction gloves on with the X's.
I mean,
no, I know.
Dope.
I mean,
singing Pat the Resistance songs. Oh, it'd be cool.
It would be dope. I wish. I mean, there might have been an early form of it in the Depression or pre-Depression. I'm not sure exactly when she died.
Is she singing Firestorm in the streets of England?
I mean, why not? It's the birthplace of punk.
There you go.
So there it is.
Sweet.
So that notwithstanding, if you remember at the beginning, this is her speaking again, I said that my dad's mom died when he was 12. She'd been with me probably from birth, looking after me in more than one way. End quote. It was then that the child realized that unlike most adults, with the exception of her maternal grandmother and mother, who was still seemingly in semi-denial about her abilities, her deceased grandmother could clearly see the lumbering, red-eyed, needle-toothed Teddy. Tiger feet. Excuse me, it's not food for a tiger. Sorry about that. Tiger feet continued her account. Quote, my granny told me to move away from the teddy bear, and as I was used to doing as I was told by Granny X, I did. I moved to the bottom of the stairs because although something inside me had finally told me that he was not a nice teddy, I still wanted to see what was happening. That's a clear childhood thing.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to let dead Granny X fucking confront the demonic Teddy and not
dude,
see.
when your fucking ghost straight edge grandma's gonna come fuck up a bear,
a demon bear,
dude, this shit's dope
with needle mouth.
Chin 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 chin.
Yeah. Oh no, you do the soundtrack. Why do you think I've been holding on to this gem?
Yeah. This is the best. This is the cinematically, dude. This is when the shit goes down. Oh fuck yeah.
And perhaps in reality,
Granny X is on her way.
Quote, Granny X took the lead, telling him quietly so that I could hardly hear to go back to whatever hell he had come from. He told her that I had summoned him, so now I was his. Just think of that. Dead grandma is like, go back to whatever hell you came from. Demon teddy bear, red-eyed, needle-toothed, fucking big claws is like, she summoned me. She's mine now. Ooh. Just that paradigm in the beginning of the conversation is enough to fucking honestly send chills.
Yeah.
It's dark as fuck.
Let me back up.
Because this kid, I mean, she's used to making happy little fucking monkeys and bunnies. She didn't need this shit. Little girl.
Right.
Maybe a dead little girl for all I know, but still a little girl. Probably a dead girl. But, kids like to play when they're dead or not, I assume.
Okay. All right, fair.
And they don't conjure dicks, as we've established.
Fair and balanced.
Okay.
Cryptonaut podcast. Fair and balanced.
Jesus Christ. So, and he was told immediately that as a child, I was incapable of deliberately summoning something like him. I think that Granny X was trying to avoid saying the D word, that is demon or devil, in front of me. But that is conjecture on my part, as I really couldn't understand a lot of what was being said, and it could have been total contempt on her part, as in not wanting to actually say demon or devil.
Yeah.
The argument got louder and louder, and my mom came out of the kitchen and stopped dead when she saw the monster on the stairs. Corroboration. Boom. That's important.
Dude, Okay. All right.
She asked me if Granny X was there with me, and I said yes. She later told me that I said that she was telling the bad teddy bear to go away. My mom managed to get past the spirit of Granny X and came to me and picked me up, holding me close to her. So good on the mom. Sees the monster teddy bear, brings the kid close.
Okay, right.
So that's tight. Granny X told her through me, Mom could never see or hear her, to stay where she was and not to move.
Dude, Granny X from beyond calling shots. She's like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
This is about to go down.
I'm the one that can deal with this.
Yeah, dude.
It's badass. Granny X continued to do what I thought was an argument with the teddy bear. I heard snippets of what she said, but the words are lost in time. I suddenly noticed that the teddy bear seemed to get smaller, about half the size he had been, and my memory is telling me, rightly or wrongly when seeing it through adult eyes, that he was shrinking into himself. When I looked again, he was gone. There were no remains of him, not a thing. He might never have been there. In the movies, these creatures go with a popping noise or a flash of fire and brimstone, but there was just nothing. Which actually makes more sense. Cinematic representations of paranormal events are going to have bombast, fireworks,
It's got to be
and sparks.
flashy, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a movie.
Yeah, but man, this thing got Pennywised.
I was just going to say,
completely.
Oh no! I don't believe in me, you little tiny shit Pennywise.
I mean, if this story wasn't published in, whatever the 2020s or 2019s or 17s, I don't remember the order of it. So much later, I would assume Stephen King read about them and got The Shining,
there's
the
a lot.
Pennywise death.
Yeah,
There's a
really.
lot stuff.
There is.
The manifestations of it, it's things from the children's imagination, be it Frankenstein in the book or whatever the fuck they used in the movie. So
Closet
whatever.
of Werewolves.
Closet of Werewolves.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite fucking Stephen King short story.
Yeah.
Completely.
Closet of Werewolves.
Welcome to my Closet of Werewolves.
Yeah. So there it is. When I went to bed that night, my imaginary friends returned, finally, that's in parentheses with an exclamation point, and told me that he was a very naughty teddy bear and that my brown teddy bear, the one I was cuddling, was much nicer and wouldn't get me in trouble. So when your other conjured friends / imaginary friends, but likely conjured from another plane, but aren't malefic, are telling you, stay the fuck away from that bear, that's some shit I think you'll listen to or should.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just
I don't
speaking.
know.
I'm not speaking from personal experience, but going back to my child self, I think if my other imaginary friends, not that I ever had any, but they told me I had imaginary fucking nightmares, but no friends. If they said stay the fuck away from like the spider baby in your corner, I'd be like, yeah, good call. I was already on that.
No, don't go near it.
But but she didn't. I mean, she just wanted the conjure teddy bear, and that showed up.
And that showed up.
She didn't like pick.
So it almost like it piggybacked on her psychic abilities to manifest things from whatever the etheric realms, whatever the fuck you want to call them, the other, and use this as a conduit to manifest to a degree in the real world, at least to a degree where it can be seen by people with psychic abilities, both the daughter and the mom, and dead grandmas, at the very least.
There's a lot,
as far as we know.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Let's continue with the account. We'll break it down. Yeah. About a week later, my maternal grandmother, that's the living grandmother that also was in support of her and also told her that as the youngest generational daughter of a youngest generational daughter, she would have the sight. Yeah. This grandmother told me that I had conjured the teddy bear. I assumed that my mom had told her what had happened and that I needed to be very careful about what I asked for in the future just in case something horrible came to me again. Again, I don't know how a kid processes
Don't
that.
ever ask again. Keep your friends. Don't ask for new ones. Unless it's like Voltron or something. Like, I want Voltron.
Well, then what was an evil Voltron?
Right.
Then it destroys London.
If you ask for a Gundam?
What if you ask for a Robeast? Then things go all to fuck.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you can't trust your powers anymore.
No, you can't. I would never be.
You don't know
Granted,
what
in
you're
the
gonna get.
50s, you're not going to ask for anime monsters, but still, it's a possibility. And Lovecraft had published all his works at this point.
Man,
every single one. He was dead.
Man, what if she's a bad day and she tries to conjure a tank?
I mean, it goes kind of back to what Chris was talking about, that episode of The Twilight Zone, also the segment in the film, where the little kid could manufacture things from his imagination into corporeal reality.
Yep.
Making people turn into, I don't even remember, like mouthless
he took
Jack
the
in the
mouth away.
Box
That
and
sucked too.
dumb shit, like just terrible shit. If a kid has that power,
Yeah.
And now I'm going to go to more fiction because that is how I base all things. Umbrella Academy on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to give too much
I
away.
haven't seen the new seasons.
But if there is someone with a power that is so potentially detrimental, do you do what's wrong for them to do what's right for the rest of humanity? Without giving any spoilers there. I don't think
well, I mean, right now she's keeping it local.
She's keeping it local. But how long?
This punk rock show.
Is that now, granted, we know now because she is a senior adult, according to the website.
Right.
That she's kept her shit intact through a couple of marriages, lots of kids, all the turmoil that, ensues from that.
I mean,
she never lost her shit.
No, and not to get too far down the road, but this is all very personal. These thought forms, this is all to her,
right?
All to her. I mean, now her mom can see them, but this is all. Let's say she's not wishing for a tank, and all of a sudden she's
I'm thinking bigger.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if you were in charge of, say, a government organization that dealt with paranormal threats, like say the BPRD, even though I know that's fictional as well. But I'm assuming that the governments of the world have something similar.
Okay.
Because they have to. At least, the superpowers. Would you fucking put the kibosh if you knew? This happened so long ago that it slipped through the radar.
Right.
But are there poor kids that have this ability now that are in Siberia? In fucking solid lead cells.
Things?
Well, all right, let's go to Stranger Things.
Yeah, it's Stranger Things.
Literally. I mean, in the end, I can't help but, was the Montauk Project really a way to corral the kids that could destroy reality? Or was the Montauk Boys a tragic episode that's probably fake? But maybe not.
Okay. All right. Well,
all right. I'm just saying.
Let's get there.
I just wanted to speak the speculative thought that
understandable.
Sometimes kids are dangerous. All right, Firestarter. Shit. I missed the obvious.
More
Firestarter.
Yeah. More cinematic.
I'm not saying George C. Scott was a saint there, but was the government wrong to want to fucking encapsulate that shit? Okay. Probably not. You don't want that living flamethrower out in the world.
But again, and I'm playing I'm playing the Child Protective Services here,
which you should.
This is all just thought forms that's all personal to her. Nobody else.
So far.
She's not conjuring anything to
well,
realize.
And clearly it bore out that she didn't destroy the world.
Exactly.
So,
and this is all just happening to her. So she can live.
All right, let me scale it back down.
It's okay.
I didn't say kill her. I never once said kill her.
She's okay.
I never said she conjured the dick. I never said murder her.
Okay.
I never said either of those things.
There you go.
Mark thought those things. Just saying it. Wow. And now the evidence is there. All right.
Nice Darvo.
So
yeah, don't Darvo me, whatever that means.
All right.
Darvo me.
So, all right, maternal grandmother saying she conjured the teddy bear. Be real fucking careful because in the future something horrible could come.
Yeah, totally.
Which is what spurned this conversation.
There you go.
She continues. To be honest, I didn't really understand what she was telling me at the time, but as it was discussed regularly as I grew up, it did finally dawn on me what my grandmother was telling me. Since this time, I have managed not to conjure any more creatures from hell. That's a quote from her. But still have Granny X looking after me. She was with me when my kids were born, and she was there when I had a baby that died shortly after birth. And I think that she escorted my baby to wherever he went. That's a very pleasant thought, and I hope that's the case. I try very hard not to conjure spirits, but I guess I do slip up from time to time. When my beautiful little dog died when I was in my 20s, I used to see the rug in front of the fire where she used to sleep move and hear her claws pattering around the place. I think I called her back as I had her since I was a child, and she was 17 when she died. So that makes sense. Your lifelong companion, someone you love.
Well, yeah, sure.
Summoning that, I guess. But then again, do you want to do your famous Maine accent about what happens with the pet cemetery?
Sometimes Dad's better.
Sometimes Dad is better. So maybe when Scrappy came home, it wasn't the same Scrappy that left.
God.
Right.
Tearing shit up.
Yeah, man, that dude that buries his kid from Vietnam, and he's just a fucking zomboid. It's like, dog, you clearly fucked up.
Yeah.
The ground is sour. Sour ground.
Perfect Maine.
All of our main
Flawless.
All of our main people hate me. It's fine.
Yeah, none of us are even going to attempt this.
Yeah, I'm just like...
Yeah, we know better.
It's sour.
But I make you do it as often as I can, just because I love hearing it. I apologize to Maine, but I really get off on it.
Sorry, Maine.
Because it's even a shitty Fred Gwynn, but I still love it.
It's great. I could just picture his face every time.
Every time.
Every fucking time. That's all I picture him.
When they put fucking Herman Munster in that movie, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I didn't realize that he was making an equally iconic performance until many years later.
Yeah,
so
no one did.
Dude,
there it is.
There it is.
Now it's my writing again. Though the remainder of Tiger Feet's interactions with the paranormal world, with the possible exception of slamming on the brakes to avoid a mid-highway collision with a phantom house, seem to be by and large positive ones. This alarming incident goes to show that parapsychological prowess in the hands of the very young or uninitiated can be every bit as dangerous as a book of matches or a sharp knife in the hands of a small child. In fact, what could possibly be more dicey than invoking, through a mere playful thought, a demon from the bowels of hell itself? Still, it seems that this particular little girl was very lucky indeed to be surrounded by an array of mentors and protectors, both living and dead. And I shudder to think about the horrific fates that may have befallen other innocent yet paranaturally gifted children who were not so lucky.
Oh,
so I fear for the kids as much as think they should be ensconced away in some, like super posh white collar kid prison where they get all the video games and social medias and do whatever they want and have ice cream bars, whatever the fuck it takes to keep them happy because their imagination could tear this world to its fucking knees.
Okay, so we're gonna start with that. What she is experiencing, obviously, skeptically speaking, yes, this could be whatever. We're gonna skip all that because we really can't get into that.
We don't know.
Because if that's the case, the whole thing doesn't fucking matter.
Well,
basically, if you're like, okay, well, this is some made up shit, then whatever.
Well, yeah, duh.
Yeah, clearly. So, to me, whatever she's experiencing here, it sounds to me like this, whatever thought forms she's conjuring, I'm not going to say tulpa, I'm not going to say egregore, whatever thought form she's conjuring is just personal to her.
So far.
But, okay, with that being said, though, as old as she is now, or as long as she's been doing this, nothing's actually manifested into the world. So whatever she's experiencing is strictly to her, which tulpa language, that's not uncommon. She's literally manifesting herself friends, which would be a tulpa. The next step,
all right,
would be something bigger.
Seeing we're indulging in this thought experiment, let me take the next step. She ended up uptight, out of sight, all right, in terms of being a well-adjusted adult that kept her shit on the down low, try not to conjure anything but like Nipsey, her pet dead dog. But that's not always going to be the case.
Okay, so if it did get to the point where she was conjuring stuff, though, like out of thin air,
all right,
I don't know. Like,
who's to say?
I don't know if that's the case.
Hitler wasn't someone's childhood nightmare.
Hitler wasn't.
I'm just saying.
Oh, now you're breaking on the rules.
Who's to say?
You're breaking on the rules of reality.
Because if we want to think our reality,
it's not a simulation; it's a tulpa world.
Our reality has never been affected by it. Ergo, it must never be anything more than interpersonal. Every 3 or 4 year old is only caught up in their own personal imaginary lives. All of them are narcissists in the sense that they think the world exists to behoove them or to belittle them or to somehow make them do shit they don't want to do.
Right.
So when you get beyond that and you can start thinking broader, listen, I wasn't even intending to have this discussion. I don't think fucking Hitler was an egregore or whatever you fucking call those things. A super tulpa. But I do think fucking that we don't know for a fact that it hasn't affected the world we live in and the history that we, is now canonized as human history.
No, it's not falsifiable, really. Yet.
And it's pissing in the wind, right. I'll admit.
So I guess that means that there has to be a jumping off point where you go from like, okay, I have the gift and I'm spiritually aligned with the stars and I'm a psychic and I'm this and I'm that. And then I can have these thought forms, come, they manifest for me. But then I don't know the science or the magic behind this, but then there's a jumping off point where you're like, okay, now I'm putting this into reality.
Right.
Which I guess is kind of like sort of like chaos magic, but that's not really like, it's not conjuring. Like tulpamancy is different. Conjuring is different.
Well, only her mom.
Tulpamancy. I read that today. I was like, I'm going to drop this shit on Chris.
I can't believe that happened.
Tulpamancy.
Okay.
I told Chris today when I talked to him, I was like, oh, baby, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you during this episode. And I think I did.
How did I tee you up so well?
Oh, you definitely did.
There was almost no chance that would happen until it does.
So I guess if we are talking about the most extreme case where it gets to the point that
Stalin was somebody's fucking shitbag teddy bear with a big mustache.
If she's conjuring some sort of fucking bizarre horrors.
What if somebody dreamed apartheid? I'm being stupid, but I'm just saying we don't know that the shit never affected our
hold
world.
on, we don't. Okay, but that is a really interesting jumping off point. We're not going to get too deep into this because it's ridiculous. Of like shared reality. Like, we all agree on what reality is because we agree on what it is.
Consensus reality is the most nebulous thing ever. Because you can talk to any 25 fucking people in this small town that we live in, and you're going to get very different.
100%.
Not just talking about political, conspiratorial.
Yeah.
You know, if you talk to we know practical geologists, we know fucking batshit crazy motherfuckers.
We know
psychics. We know people on all sides of the political spectrum. We know and love everybody. Amongst them, we couldn't get a consensus version of reality.
But for the sake of this story, let's not go too big. We don't want to go full out. We don't want to go to Jupiter yet.
All right, fair. Let's scale it down. We don't want to go
there. For this story, though, just bringing it down to what she experienced throughout her life, especially with this manifestation of this bear. Her grandmother seemingly is confirming what Chris and we had all talked about earlier, that whatever she did conjure, it is apparently some sort of negative force.
And it could have led her away and maybe hurt her, but not necessarily broader reality.
See, I don't understand how I don't get how she's bringing these things into existence in her mind.
Well, I don't think that's for us to know.
But that would make me think that whatever conduit she's working with, things can either interfere or intercept it and bring themselves through. Now, look, I know I'm making a lot of hand motions here, and I seem like I'm doing some shit with crystals. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just thinking about like,
can I paraphrase?
I guess sort of rationally.
Let me paraphrase.
What's that?
Because it really limiting it just to this case. It really does seem like she really wanted a cute, cuddly teddy bear to join her like menagerie of buddies, like the smiley fucking monkey, the little girl, and the red-eyed cute bunnies. And as she was drawing this thing into reality, this manifestation of, I don't know, I mean, again, I'll call it etheric forces. We don't know what it would be. This weird manifestation of energy that could become real enough to her that she could interact with it, and it could make independent movements and talk and hang out with her as her other buddies seem to.
Right.
Maybe she was cultivating it, like the happy monkey say, from forces that are not, nefarious and don't have like a sinister agenda, and that this evil force or thought form or whatever the fuck it is piggybacked on the idea of a cuddly teddy bear, and that's how the claws and the teeth and the red eyes manifested, and it wanted to go away. And the grandmother, the dead one first, was savvy enough and been experienced enough and maybe been educated enough in the afterlife, because who knows, maybe you have like occult universities when you die where you can like pick up on some crazy shit. She recognized that this was some dangerous dark shit that her fucking 3 or 4 year old granddaughter could not possibly fathom, and she interceded on the behalf. But it definitely seemed like something piggybacked, like she created all these other things and they didn't have an ill vibe in them, including maybe she even manifested little friendly Charlie. Let's not forget him.
Well, I was going to go back
poltergeist
to that.
There. Now that he might have been, well, clearly he was independent of her because he existed before she was born, so he couldn't have, but he could have fed off of that, and maybe one of her aunts had that same power, and maybe the reason he follows her around is because he's able to manifest in such a physical way because it's drawing on the power, but he's not doing anything worse than hiding scissors or fucking tools or fucking whatever.
Then again, I mean, whatever.
But this thing piggybacked on and has got some dark agenda.
I wonder too if like what she actually is conjuring, like if these are actual beings, like if these are beings that are like communicating somehow through her.
Sure.
Or not through her,
or manifesting in the image that she wanted.
Or communicating to her, which means you could get lucky. I'm assuming that you're going to have positive, you're going to have negative. You're going to have some good shit, you're going to have some bad shit. But she hadn't had anything negative until this, which is really weird.
Yeah, but nobody knows the rules.
No, that's the problem. That's why I keep going back to. I can do all the hand emotions I want, and I look like an asshole, but I look like I know what I'm talking about.
And I'm not convinced that these things weren't already there in some form.
What do you mean?
Don't know. I'm not convinced that she made them up.
So wait, are you thinking like it might be dead people that were already in the space that are
Well,
now manifesting as bunnies and shit? Or
If
as-
she wants them to come through, then maybe they're coming through as bunnies. But I think these things are already somewhere.
That would be
Because the way they talk
I
to each
agree.
other.
Yeah.
Like I don't think she invented it. Like
I absolutely
Right.
agree with her. I think she invented the guys they wear. I do not think she invented
Yeah, I
the
think
personality behind
So
them.
like
Yeah,
I
I
was
agree.
saying,
She's
like
not-
I was
I don't
saying,
think she's
these are some
creating
entities that are
yeah,
like.
so we're all in
Yeah.
basic agreement on that
She
point.
probably didn't like just manifest them, which would be a tulpa. That would be definitely a tulpa. But this is probably something that was, like Kirsten was saying, that was already there that she's just interacting with now, which maybe the way that she perceives it is as, especially, the whimsy of a child and the psychic of a kid and their, beautiful creatures that can see ghosts and I don't know, whatever. Maybe whatever she's dealing with here, just it keeps it on that level of a child. Whereas maybe when she gets older, maybe it's a different type of manifestation.
Sure.
Maybe it's Tiny Tim.
I mean, let's hope not.
It's Charo.
Oh my God, Tiny Tim from that weird, what was that Blood Harvest movie he did? That weird,
Oh my God, yeah, I
independent
saw that.
shot on
Yeah.
video slasher film.
Jesus.
That Tiny Tim makes the real Tiny Tim even worse.
Yeah. So I like Chris's idea though that maybe this was something there that was previous.
But I hate to do it. It brings me back to my idea. If things can piggyback on ideas, and you only get stronger in your ability to manifest these ideas, or maybe you get weaker as you get older. We don't know.
Right.
But if that was the case, I would see needing to have protocols in place to make sure that shit doesn't get out of hand and go global, or even national, or even fucking county-wide. Because that's a problem.
or even just on my block.
Yeah.
How will the
Next
state,
door.
How will the state fair function this year with these goddamn
It certainly
kids?
will not.
Ram demons.
Yeah, a bunch of ram demons.
They're going to fuck up a state fair. I assure you.
Here comes
Well-
the bus of ram demons.
I mean, we don't have time to go down MK Ultra, but
No.
I mean, if it is to be believed, then yes, there were children that were experimented on a that were I don't know if it would you'd call it psychic, but like the remote viewing shit.
Sure.
There was children involved, children in the sense of like teenagers. They're not taking like 3-year-olds and like fucking tell me what you see, you little shit.
Still not awesome, but yeah.
No, still really bad. So okay, if that is a possibility, then yes, they. But it goes to Stranger Things for me though. So
Well,
I mean,
listen, don't let Stranger Things ruin you, because Stranger Things is based on the Montauk Project.
Right.
Making things manifest from the mind is most definitely a part of at least Nichols' version of the books that were written about it, which of course I fucking have read them all.
Yeah. See,
And
I don't
we
know.
will be doing a pod on it at some point, even though it's so fucking overwhelmingly huge.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a half a year.
It's going to be the biggest thing we've ever done.
Part 47.
It's gonna be like.
But we're going to break
Remember
it down.
John Edmonds Part 6 where we had an end in sight?
I mean, we got Philadelphia Experiment, we got Pegasus
Yeah.
Project, we got
Yeah,
Montauk Project.
yeah.
We can
we
break
got a
it down.
lot.
We don't have to
got
deal with it
a
all at
ton.
once.
So I guess ultimately, to go back to your bigger picture here, is that okay? If this is if these individuals that can harness or communicate or interact with these thought forms or beings, if they can bring them into our world and have it cause a super fucking big problem,
Sure.
I could see that being an issue for sure. I mean, it's one of those things like, all right, yeah, how do you control kids like that?
Well, here's the thing. I'm obviously
dope them up.
I'm not.
Put 'em
I'm
on the
not,
dope?
I'm not endorsing any of those things.
I mean,
And all of the protocols are established in fiction, whether it be Stranger Things, Firestarter, or any of the other things we fucking invoked in this pod. I would say that, obviously kids need their autonomy with parental structure, hopefully, or guardianship, and should not be in any way killed, incarcerated, or fucking doped up. Also, I would say that despite my references of fucking dream manifestations of Hitler's and Stalin and apartheid, I don't necessarily think that's true. I think human beings are plenty capable of concocting all sorts of evil on their own, and that some people rise to the fucking top of the shitbag heap and kill a lot of people before they fucking die. So I don't necessarily think that's the case either. I guess I was just posing a what if.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, because ultimately the next step from your thought form interacting with you would be like, well, can I make it interact with the world?
And if it's your best friend,
there's actually
Adolf,
Jesus Christ,
who's only been cool to you your whole life till you send him out in the world.
Yeah, then you're like, fuck.
It's like, I just want to grow up to be an artist. And then that worked
I'm
out.
the fucking problem.
So I'm just saying.
There was a listener.
Little Heinz out there in the fucking 1913, concocting baby Adolf. Saying it's a problem. All right, go ahead.
It's a fucking problem.
I'm done interrupting.
All right, so there was a listener that actually we were talking about. I don't want to out their name on air here. I don't know if they want me to like put their name out there, but it's kind of an interesting thought experiment, like we're talking about there, with Cannock Chase. So part of the thing with Cannock Chase, obviously, we talked about egregores and tulpas, and he was talking like the whole egregore idea is actually really interesting, but also kind of fucking creepy because what some people think with these Cannock Chase stories is that a lot of them are developed just with AI shit. And he had sent me a couple of things. I'm pretty sure it was from him, where you just punch it into AI, whatever. Tell me a story about a ghost in Cannock Chase, and it fucking develops it or whatever. And then it gets put out into the world. And then if you get into the whole egregore tulpa thought experiment idea going on, is AI creating fucking creepy shit at Cannock Chase? Is the machine that's developing these stories, publishing them then on the internet, pushing it out there and giving the collective consciousness the power to create these things?
Go the next step in that thought process.
Dude, this is where AI fucks us.
Is the culture that happened before that developed AI, that became the god that created the Big Bang and created life as we know it, the perpetrator of the fantasies and the realities that we are currently ensconced with, and then it is being amplified by our own nascent version of AI, where it'll eventually merge into the collective whole. Are we not living in an AI's nightmare?
Granny X and the Demon Teddy Bear. We did it, and we just ended on a really fucking super deep heady.
I stopped listening like 10 minutes ago.
Chris bailed. I could tell.
Yeah, I could tell.
I gave my facts, and I'm like, all right.
I've seen his eyes glaze behind those glasses so many times.
Yeah. Tulpamancy ended it. Fucking for me, man. That ended the convo.
I want to give a shout out to the Monsignor Drew Alderson who dropped on our Patreon.
Oh yeah.
He dropped a really cool link about it's a Medium post, thought form entities on tulpas or egregores, exploring the mind's conceptive potential. It's a really interesting little read that I actually read today.
Pass it on to me,
please. It was
please.
super cool. It was awesome, and I obviously love the egregores and I love the tulpas. I love all that shit. You know what else I love?
But even if none of that shit happened, thank God she lived a good, happy life. Let's end this on that. No,
yeah, no, she did.
She moved. She had 2 husbands, multiple kids. I don't know how many houses. Lived throughout the United Kingdom, and I'm using that term accurately. I'm talking to you fuckers. But fucking. But yeah, so she did her thing, and clearly, unless on her deathbed, all of the shit escapes, and we have to live in her nightmare. I think fucking right on.
You know what else we love? I'm going back to my segue.
Yeah,
the good folks who support us on Patreon.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah. So hold on.
Ramming it.
Let me re-up my computer so I can read their names.
Are
what's that?
Not tulpas.
We don't know that. And if tulpas are paying,
I know that.
If tulpas are paying, I'd say keep it up.
Chris and I watched the numbers. If they're tulpas, they got some decent cash back.
All right,
there.
fair enough. All right, I'm opening it up. I'm sorry, I got a new computer. You guys can't see.
Well, while you get that, I'm going to let the other folks out there that are listening to this. We do have a 7-day free Patreon trial. That's right. It will require that you put your credit card in, but like most things, if you don't want to get charged at the end of the 7 days, you just have to cancel it.
Yep.
But that will give you the opportunity to jump on our Patreon. You can check out the bonus audio that we have, the Patreon episodes, which we're going to be recording next, which is released on a Sunday. There's also video of that.
Yep.
You can also there's ad-free episodes. You're not going to have to hear me talk about XBet or whoever I'm talking about that week. Plus the intro in the beginning of the show. There's no ads there. You also get the video of that as well. And then throughout the week, you get multiple episodes.
Yes, you do.
On a Wednesday, you get a crypto corner or a super cool bonus. And then on a Friday, you also get another bonus video episode.
Yeah,
we got video reactions, we got crypto corner, and then we got my personal favorite is the ghost stories after dark, which has been with the first one that we've done.
Yeah,
but it's been way too fun to do, so we're super stoked on that.
So
again,
fun.
There is a 7-day free trial over there at Patreon. That is patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast.
All right. I'd like to think I'm ready. I'm not. I zoomed in too far.
Okay, well, do you want me to keep monologuing
You
about
have one
Patreon?
letter per
Go on.
screen.
Okay, well, we have some new merch coming out, hellerspace.com.
Dude, it's so fucking big.
Just go drop your percent down.
Dude, I can't. I don't know where it went because it was on that side of the screen, and now it's off the screen, and now I don't know where to find it. I honestly don't know where to find it.
Okay, so Rob's lost.
I'm going to miss one name, maybe.
Okay, well, you start off, and
right.
I'll help you out here.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, you got it? Oh, okay. That shit. I didn't even have to mention what a fuck up I am. You could have just fucking stepped in and helped me.
Well, yeah, no, you read them, and if you fuck on something up, I'll let you know.
Stardust.
Okay, you don't gotta grab the mic
dude,
there. Yeah, okay.
know
He's
Bob
already
shit.
old man, fucking jazz hands over here.
Old jazz hand, Rob.
Why did you go into meatloaf mode every time you're fucking right?
Because I was trying to emphasize I was
won't
reading
do
the
that.
fucking. Oh my! You know what?
Oh no!
Fuck
no,
you both.
Won't do that. All right. Who's next?
I'm drinking while you read.
Who's
Drink.
next?
I'm drinking. You read. I read the first one. It's Sloan Taylor.
Is it
Jesus
Sloan?
Christ.
I
It's
can't.
Sloan.
Okay, Sloan Taylor.
Are you
all right.
fucking blind?
I got you, Sarah.
Thank you.
There you go. Continue.
Anthony Mejia.
Thank you, Anthony.
Vespio Nemo Bestia.
Thank you, Vespito. That's awesome. I love that name.
Robert Wells.
Hell yeah, Robert.
This is where my shit cuts off. Jess is all I have.
Aragona.
Oh, it goes down below. Oh, I could have read that. I didn't
Aragona.
realize it was the cutoff.
Did I get it close?
Yeah, probably.
Yes. Aragona. I would have said
Okay,
Aragona.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you.
Hello, Bodega Kitty. One word.
Hello,
Nice.
Bodega Kitty. Thank you so much.
You guys deserve better than this reading, by the way. Jeff Jennings.
Thank you, Jeff.
David Wise.
Thank you, David. And again, we appreciate all your monthly support over there at patreon.com/Cryptonaut podcast. Jump on there. Check it out. All kinds of new video content happening. We mentioned the merch at the old Heller Space. Rocking the hat right here. Been wearing this all weekend. It smells like fireworks and Coors Lights.
It's true.
It has been with me all weekend. It hasn't
So it's been
it hasn't
blessed.
burned. It hasn't caught on fire. Everything's been good so far. Loving the hats.
So you're saying it's fireproof?
No, I'm not
No,
saying it's
you would not
fireproof.
say that.
No,
That
no,
would
no,
be
no,
a fool's
no,
errand.
no.
Yeah.
And those hats, the new hats are available over there at hellerspace.com, the TeePublic shop. Also, too, we got the stitched hats, the embroidered hats that are at
Chris is wearing
Yeah,
front.
Chris is
I'm
one.
wearing it back.
You got one that is available at cryptonautmerch.com at the Crowdmade shop. Check all that stuff out, and the socials, the Instas and the Twitters and the Facebooks. We're there. We're doing it. We're making it happen.
Yeah.
And
Doing our best.
to end the episode here, I want to give a special little shout out to our dude, Cole Harold,
Oh, yeah.
who, this is really fucking awesome. And I was talking to him about this over the weekend, and I wish to shit I could make it to this because it'd be so cool. And by the time this episode comes out, it has already happened. But he is a guest speaker at the Veggie Man Day.
That's awesome.
They're having an actual
really?
a whole day for Veggie Man.
It's about time every remote cryptid in West Virginia and everywhere else got a fucking day.
So this was
Why
put
not,
on by
man?
the Moth Boys podcast and Conjure Dust Designs, and it's celebrating a West Virginia legend. And dude, this looks so. I wish to shit I could go. This looks so dope. There's
That's
like vendors and
awesome.
musicians,
He wrote
sweet food trucks, dude.
one of the greatest exposés, breaking down the Gray Barker
dude.
files and whatnot. Like full on. He deserves this position.
Dude,
so it's awesome for Cole. Congrats, Cole. That's awesome. You deserve it.
So stoked for Cole that he's the guest speaker there. That is fucking so awesome. He's such a good friend of the podcast and one of our dudes. It's so awesome
Yep.
that he got a chance
Absolutely.
to do that. It's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I'm really hoping to see more stuff from him like that from the future. I think it's awesome. He should continue that. New World Explorers, his blog spot there
Oh,
where he
yeah.
writes a bunch of stuff. And I just been pushing him like, you got to write a book. You got to write a book. You got to write a book. You got to write a book.
Sure.
Like, just keep
Oh
telling
my God. His
As I'm
research
just-
is great.
As I'm hammered lighting off fireworks, I'm like, I just read a book from your call. And I really do want him to do a book. I think his
sure.
research is fucking phenomenal, and he's such a great dude. And again, I want to give him a very special shout out, Cole. It's so
He
fucking
deserves
awesome, dude. Check his work out. There it is. Thank you all so very much.
Fuck yeah.
You know what we're going to be doing?
Mm.
Talking with you next week.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
We hope.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's presumptuous.
we
Unless
hope.
someone wishes us out of existence.
Why are you pointing to Chris when
Spooky
you did that?
ooky.
Why would Chris do that?
I wanted Chris to confirm that it might happen. I wasn't assuming Chris would
You
be the
think
one to do
someone
it.
is going to like?
Why would Chris wish us out? Chris is fucking one of us. That's absurd. What you said was
I don't even know
stupid.
what's
Maybe
happening
he
right
might be
now.
a traitor.
God damn it,
I'm the
Chris.
traitor?
Don't wish
Oh, I
me out
might
of
be.
existence.
So, see?
Oh, don't. He's playing the devil's advocate. He's not the betrayer. You're the betrayer, clearly.
Am I getting
Did America
Darvoed?
tell you what to do?
You what?
Mark?
Am I getting Darvoed again? Tell me.
Maybe,
I don't know. Am I? Is he going to do it?
I
Yeah,
just
I'm
got out
not
of
sure.
control.
Is Darvo
So wait,
a Doctor Who villain? I don't know what that means.
I'm the
either.
American betrayer.
yeah.
It would be the most ironic if it were you.
I'm the betrayer of America.
You can drive America and betray her
Oh.
at the same time.
That's how you take it down from the inside out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Maybe we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.
All right, back.
See ya.